Oh, Paladin's Quest.
What's a paladin?
This is certainly an interesting one. Among the legions of awesome SNES RPGs, there are a few games that fell flat in the genre, and this is one of those. Paladin's Quest was released by Enix late into 1993, but without Square's name recognition and a pretty low budget, the game quickly went into total obscurity. Put bluntly, if you had this game as a kid, you were probably dyslexic, or your parents really didn't like you. Before I get to the actual review, I have to point out the cover of the game. I mean, look at this. Freud is laughing in his grave right now. It's shameless, kind of like the Little Mermaid cover. The game stars the young protagonist, Chesney. Definitely Italian. Hey, Chesney, you gonna go get the meatball and bring it home to Nana? Chesney is a girly man who's a talented student at a magic school. One day, on a dare, Chesney makes his way into a tower that houses the greatest evil in the land. And he does it pretty easily because it's right next to its school and no one is guarding it. Yep, it's not that important, I guess. Just the greatest evil the land has ever known. Who cares? And our hero accidentally sets this ancient evil free. And in a twist that actually caught me off guard, this game doesn't mince words. The pupils are all dead. You basically murdered everyone. It's almost like we should have guarded this thing better so, a kid wouldn't waltz in and, put the whole world in danger or something. What the hell is this, Xenogears? I mean, lighten up, game. Your front cover has... Anyway, Chesney must set off to save the world because apparently he's the only hope. A school child. And the headmaster says it's totally Chesney's fault. Way to shift the blame, you asshole. There's really not much to say about the story. It's really blunt, paced rather poorly, and the characters barely have personality. The dialogue is basic, and it's a forgettable narrative, like it's a forgettable game. The gameplay is the most basic of the basic. Classic Dragon Quest-like turn-based random battle, grindy goodness or torture, depending on what kind of gamer you ask. A weird thing about the system is that using magic actually drains your HP. In pretty much any other RPG, casting magic would take away MP points, but not here. It's actually not that big of a problem as it may seem, it's just kind of annoying and weird. Healing is also kind of different, as you don't get traditional healing spells, but HP recovery is dedicated mostly to finding healing items, which does add some strategy, but again, weird. The final deviation from the norm in terms of the gameplay is the use of Mercenaries. Like Shadowrun for the SNES, you spend most of the game hiring and battling with mercenaries that you meet along the quest. It was actually an interesting way to do business, as there's a lot of strategy in who you choose to take with you. But it just reminds me that this game doesn't really care about the characters, which isn't really good for an RPG, especially a 1993 one. The last thing I have to talk about is the graphics in the game. First of all, I'm convinced that whoever did the graphics was colorblind. Okay, that's pretty harsh. I actually kinda do like the graphics in this game. Despite being really simple and kind of silly looking, the game was usually fun to look at. Whether it was the wacky enemy design or those cartoony Dr. Seussian towns, Paladin's Quest definitely has some personality and uniqueness in terms of the graphics in the world it creates. I also really like the music in the game. It was done by Kohei Tanaka, who's done work on famous anime series like Dragon Ball Z, One Piece, and Pokemon. The music carries a lot of that Super Nintendo magic / charm with it, as the songs are simple yet incredibly catchy and memorable. It's not a tragically overlooked masterpiece of a soundtrack or anything, but there's really some great stuff here, including one of my favorite songs, Battle on the Plains. In conclusion, there were only 2 reasons to play Paladin's Quest. 1. you like old school RPGs that really test your strategical skills and patience. Or 2, you want to be that person in the room who can say, "I've played Paladin's Quest," followed by some awkward stares and facepalms. Although it's pretty rough around the edges and definitely not unique, Paladin's Quest has an undeniable charm. Yeah, it's simple, yeah, it's silly, but that definitely doesn't mean you can't enjoy it for what it is. It'll never be anyone's favorite game, and there's definitely better games to play, but just accept Paladin's Quest as that one really creepy ginger kid in the SNES RPG family. No one acknowledges its existence, and most people wouldn't find it fun to be with, but I'm sure somebody loves it. Thanks for watching.